Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back to the post-lunch session. I'm very pleased to see too many people sitting after the post-lunch. Normally in a conference, which is the last day of the conference, it's very rare to see. I'm very happy for that. And first of all, I would like to thank the two Ds behind this program, David and Dinesh. I think without their involvement, we will not be able to see any DL or DA in India, right? And the topic of my paper is already there. It says Digital Preservation and Permanent Access to Print Media Resources, a TAKC case study. The TAKC stands for Times, Archives and Knowledge Center. You will get to see too many colors in my presentation, my sincere apologies, but we as a media organization believe without color, what is life, right? In digital environment, without metadata, there is no digital archive. So similarly, without color, there is no life. And this is the outline that I'm going to talk about. Since it's a case study, briefly I'll talk about our Times group. Then I will also explain about what is Times Archives and Knowledge Center, what kind of archival resources that we have in our collection, and what kind of initiatives that we have taken in terms of digital preservation, covering various digital resources, print media resources which we have, and how it is being used. There could be questions like, since I have an archive, I need to tell that how it's being used, and what kind of challenges that we have encountered while developing this, and what are the best practices that we feel could be useful for others in case somebody wants to take up similar projects. And also I'm going to quickly highlight which are the benefits that we are enjoying currently after getting into a digital archiving environment. So we all know by now, world over, archives, museums and libraries into digital preservation projects. When it comes to print media, I think we are the one, we are quickly started exploiting it. And in terms of digital preservation in print media, it's being used for in two aspects. One is to digitize the hard copy material which we have, could be microfilm or hard copy bound volumes of newspaper and things like that, photographs. Second is we are also very seriously into preserving born digital content. Predominantly from year 2002 onwards in India, this is a trend, so we all have e-paper archives which is available, so I'll talk about that. And as I already said, it's going to be a case study, more on practical approach than, I'm not going to explain about on back end what we do. There are no technological details here, I'm just going to present what is it and how we are using it. And quickly to run through, Bernard Coleman Company, it's known as Times of India Group, does not need any introduction to Indian audience to begin with, which is the largest media company in this country. We have got almost one popular brand in any kind of media, starting from Times of India and Economic Times, and we are into regional publications, and we are into TV channels. Times now, everybody knows what kind of viewership it gets, and we also have a popular FM radio channel. And in that setup, Times Archives and Knowledge Center plays a predominant role in information sharing. Not only this department preserves companies' heritage material for the last 175 years. That's the logo says that recently we celebrated 175 years on last November 2013. And this department exists, I would say, for the last 100 years in a formal way. Nobody knows prior to that what has happened, but the record is that every single copies have been produced by Times of India Group for 175 years is available intact in this department, in hard copy format, in microfilm, and we have a digital archive now. And coming to the collections that are available in Times Archives, we have got quite a few $1 million babies sitting with us. Everything you take out, it's in millions. It's like mind-boggling kind of collection. The credit goes to about 5 generations of archival people who have worked for the company. They kept it intact and it's available even today to access. That's how we are able to get into a digital environment. I'm not going to read out everything, we can just go through. And this paper is available in the proceedings in page number 187. It's worth going through. If not for the content of the paper, I've also linked my paper along with already available scholarly material that are available in the industry. About 30 odd references, it's worth going through. I'm not selling my paper. And coming to Times Archives, it's not only a resource center for Times of India Group. I can proudly say that it's a national resource center for anybody who wants to know about what has happened in this country. Every year we serve thousands of visitors coming from academic setup, government and legal, sometimes even from abroad. We get queries, so we take care of that, which is why we thought, rather than having resources only in hard copy or microfilm format, taking them to digital archives not only serves our internal information user needs, we can also serve the external users from across the world. And from 2000 onwards, we started working on a digital environment. We started with the pilot project. Since then, in multiple resources, a number of projects have been handled successfully. Well, I'll talk about one by one. To begin with, the massive digitization project I can proudly say that has taken part of in this part of all this, Times of India digitization. For 175 years collection from 1838 to 2003 onwards, we had only in microfilm format backed up by a hard copy. The entire collection has been digitized today using microfilm as a source. And since it's a massive project, about 1 million pages have to be digitized. We could not handle it internally. We outsourced a company. And also we linked it with the revenue model. So somebody was talking yesterday, if you just want to digitize, I don't think get funding. Unless you have a revenue model, you can generate value out of a digitization project. It's not possible. Today, the entire digital archive is available through ProQuest. I'm sure most of you would know like ProQuest is a content aggregator. I can proudly say that Times of India is the only newspaper from Asia which is available as part of ProQuest historical newspaper collection. So this is what is what we have done. The same thing is also available for our internal users through our intranet. This is just a screenshot to give you a proof. This is the kind of interface. You can do a search on Mahatma Gandhi and it shows you there are about 47,000 items on Mahatma Gandhi alone. So this is just an example that I'm showing. And moving on to the same setup is available in our intranet. And it says here TOI Digital Archive. Just click that. We have got a separate interface for this because we are maintaining it parallelly for our internal users because we don't want them to go every now and then to ProQuest. Second is like it's a kind of a limited time agreement with a third party. So what happens if that agreement goes? So we are maintaining it parallelly for our internal users. It's available. And moving on to Bond Digital e-paper archive, I'm sure most of you would have had a chance to go through our e-paper archive from 2004 onwards. Anything that has been published by our company is available on e-paper site, whether it is Times of India as a paper or Economic Times, all other supplements put together. I have given you the domain name. You can just go and check it on your own. And this, we use a software called Olive. It's available. You can do an internet search and find out what it is. It's a kind of a full-fledged, content management tool. It's an automated process. We have got a separate team to handle it. They work by end of the day so that early morning this paper is available. As soon as the paper is getting printed by midnight, this process starts. And recently we also launched M-Paper, so you can use our archives through any of your mobile devices without any hassles. Only the editorial staff to access it, and it also helps our archival team to archive the entire content. And the metadata standard followed here is IPTC. IPTC headers is very popular in the media industry, so content exchange can take place very quickly. And the entire content is available for our internal users through intranet, and selected images are available through a website called timescontents.com. Suppose somebody is interested in buying our pictures, so you can go log on to timescontent.com, order your pictures, pay the money, and get on with it. So these are the screenshots from the Comian system. You can see Bond digital images in color and archival images in black and white. Then the next resource which we have is press clippings. I'm sure everybody understands media organization cannot survive, journalists cannot survive without referring to press clippings. So it's a vital resource, not only tracked from our own publications, and it's also tracked from 100 plus publications from India on any topic, on any subject. We have got millions of such clippings, and for which we bought a software called DataScan Online, which was readily available, which helps us to scan, index, and make it available to users through an intranet connection, or maybe on net also I can directly take it. Due to copyright restriction, we can't make it available to public. It's only available for our internal users across India for a reference purpose. So just a screenshot, Mother Teresa. You can do a search and you can pull out what's available. There could be hundreds of articles on Mother Teresa. Somebody is writing a profile, he need not go anywhere. Then moving on to the very important resource which we started off from the year, maybe about 3 years back, which is called Cartoons Collection. Many of you would know R.K. Lakshman. Those who are from India, like we have got a national treasure, I would call it. Thousands of his cartoons, we had a chance to go through, I had a privilege to go through every single thing, the original cartoons, and we have just digitized them, it's available. We are working on an indexing system and a retrieval system, and we had a problem of, designing metadata structure for this. Luckily, after a long search, I found BCAD, the British Cartoon Archive Digitization Project. They have set out certain standards, they have already come out with a project. So we are not going to reinvent the wheel, we are just going to adapt what they have done, because it's the best thing that is already available. So maybe in the next conference, I'll be only talking about that project if you are able to achieve it successfully. And this is just a screenshots of the work in progress. You got Bond digital cartoons. There are these days nobody does a drawing or anything like that. It's all computer generated. The other side, what you are seeing is digitized from hard copies. Now, the important question is usage of digital archives. Of course, I can proudly say that compared to the environment where we had only in hard copy format or in microfilm, the moment we digitize a lot of queries we are able to handle, because users don't come to our archives physically. Whether they are operating from Bangalore, they are in Delhi, they are from any part of the world, they can log on to our server, they can get access. So it has generated a lot of repurposed publications. They are normally using it for background information compilation or other ongoing research work. And also we take care of our advertising and marketing professionals' information needs as well. Particularly, this team needs current information. Like from e-paper archive, they can log on to see what kind of reports have come on their clients, what kind of apps have been released. Similarly, even our customers can log on and check. So that way this the system is very useful. And we also give a lot of proactive information services. My team does this, takes care of information needs of the entire group using all these resources. And everything is not bed of roses. In a project like this, I can very confidently say that a lot of challenges we have to go through. For over a period of time, we have observed quite a bit of things. When it came to digitizing our entire newspaper, the major issue which we had was backdated newspaper. The quality of the newspaper itself was not proper. So whatever came in microfilm, we had to live with that. Maybe some pages were missing, some pages were not found proper, pages got cut on the corners and things like that. So that kind of issue, I'm sure everybody will go through when you are touching real archival material. Second is like budgetary resources. People may think that Times of India is a big organization, you can do no. Here also this picture is saying that unless I got a proper project proposal in place, unless I put in a proper justification, I won't get a grant, internal grant to do a project. So I'm sure that's common with everybody. Then getting an ICT tools and facilities. You have already seen, I have given you 4 different platforms. Imagine a journalist who wants to do an article on Sachin Tendulkar, maybe a profile story on him. If he has to get everything, he has to go to 4 different search engines. He will go to TOI Digital Archive to see what we have published. He will go to Datascan and check what clippings are available. Then he will go to Comion Photo Archive and check what photographs are available. Maybe he will get into Cartoons Archive and see whether there is any caricature and pictures, which is where we are trying to achieve now, integrate all this and bring it to a single common platform. Yeah. So that's another challenge which we are trying to solve. There is no single standard media content management tool available in the market which you can buy and use it. So we are trying to figure out that. And again, structuring metadata for each individual resources. I already gave an example of cartoons. I don't think anybody else has done cartoon digitizing or anything here in this audience. So it takes time. It takes time to understand. It takes time to standardize it. It takes time to work with that. So that's a problem which we continue to face. And getting quality manpower. I have a team of about 30 people. I'm sure everybody cannot get into a digital environment like this, which is why we went and outsourced. So even if I train somebody, there is no guarantee that this person is going to work forever with us, including me. I can change my job. What happens to my project? That's an issue. And we getting a content management tool, which I already talked about, developing it is a big challenge for all of us. Even end user concerns. Times of India as an organization, we got I5 journalists and marketing teams, those who are working with us. Even though we got such a wonderful resource, sometimes they say that, Venkat, I don't have time. Can you ask your team to download and send this stuff to my, maybe share it with us, send it in a pen drive, those who are sitting in the same building. So it happens. So you need to change them. So even though you have a wonderful resource. Finally, copyright issues. Today, many people think that copying is their right, right? They don't follow copyright. They think that copying is their right. So they anything. Today you are sitting here, somebody takes a picture and it's there on Facebook even if you went out, before you went out from this place. So anything is possible. We are very careful about it. We put some guidelines saying that how it should be used. So it's possible anytime. And then the last important thing that I would like to highlight is, I'll take 2 minutes. What are the benefits? What we have achieved is, we have preserved our content intact. It's available for future use. So permanent access has been already enabled. And having this system in place, I can confidently say that we are able to save our staff time as well as users' time. And we are able to give simultaneously multiple access to multiple users across the globe, wherever they are. Recently there was a project, somebody was sitting in Singapore, we just gave an access, so that it was done. And we are also into content monetization scheme, and we got something called time syndication service. Anything that we have digitized is available for public access through an interface. So there is a revenue model already built into this. And another thing I can proudly say is we could share maybe double the size of this much hall in a hotspot Mumbai location. We hired a less costly location and shifted everything to that place. Since we have digitized, we can save. In a city like Mumbai, you cannot imagine having a kind of a luxury place like this. And these are the real examples of digitization. When we completed this 175 years last year, we brought out a couple of books. Unless, if at all my digital archive was not in place, this is what has happened. Like momentous times about some of the important events during last 175 years, sporting times, the best coverage of sports that has happened during last 175 years. Mills and Malls is all about Mumbai culture. India by Idea is all our editorial and opinion pages, best stories from that. And Flashback is about the film industry. The last one is about the cartoons which I was talking about. So I just thought I should show these examples. I'm not going to sell any of these books. It's available for you to buy. And coming to the best practices, last 1 minute, I think the best thing in a digitization project is we need to think about the source to begin with. It should be authentic source. We need to have all details available. If you don't get an authentic source, you are not going to have anything. And importance should be given to metadata structure right from the beginning stage itself. Otherwise, we will have an archive which will not be accessible to anybody. And we need to have an automated process, particularly in a digitization project in newspaper. It can't be done manually. So our outsourced vendor had all this process in place, so we could use that. And training and demo session is very, very important. Whether people are part of the project, people are going to be end users. Unless you do a proper systematic program, you cannot achieve the end result. And copyright protection is very, very important for all of us. Otherwise, we all will face problems. People take it very easily, but it doesn't work that way. And finally, having shown you all these examples, I can confidently say that we have achieved remarkable success in terms of preserving digital resources, print media resources in digital form. I've already given you examples, but it's not going to stop there. Maybe the next project that I'm going to take up, the bigger one, is digitizing Economic Times, the business newspaper, widely read business newspaper from our group. And in the process, I'm sure whatever value that we are going to add to our organization will also become value addition for the end users from anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. I hope this presentation was useful. I'll be answering any of the questions which you have. Yeah, thank you.